Me, I'm Marcello Vanni. I'm a software engineer and I work at Dennis. I work upstairs. Sometimes I'm working here, having some food and having fun here. That's my Twitter if you want to tweet or ask me something. My presentation is about, it's a bit long, but basically it's about making content creation easier. Do you guys know what Behat is? Do you use Behat? Raise your hand if you use Behat. Okay, and alright, you're gonna like this because we're gonna solve some problems here, a usual problem that we have. And probably one of the things that make people not use Behat is because it's a lot of work to use Behat. It's like maintaining those tests, it's a lot of work. So I'm gonna show you like things that can go wrong and things that make it difficult, and I'll show you how to make it nicer and better and easier. And I'm gonna show a working prototype, and I will explain the components of the prototype. So this is a traditional way of testing where we have existing content, we have like a tutorial content, and we basically say, oh, go to this page and check that this is on the page. That works fine because it's really fast, you don't have to wait until the content is created because it's already in there. But the problem is like anytime the tutorial team changes something, boom, it breaks tests, and then you have to go and update all the tests. So QA guys, they have to work a lot to fix this. So it's not very really reliable. Then we have filling in forms to create content. That works, but what you have to do, you have to log in as editor. That takes some time because Drupal takes time to authenticate the user. Then you have to go to each to the node add in the content type, and you have to fill in each form of the field, and you have to match these names. You can actually use friendly names here, but this is like it's crazy, and you have so many fields there you have to fill in form, and you have problems like a required field, a new required field that comes into content type, and then you have to go and update all the tests because that required field is going to fail validation. So it's hard to write, hard to read, and besides, Behat and BDD is not made to test UI, it's not made to test forms. I think simple tests are more likely to be used in this case. TableNodes, this is quite nice. This is provided by Behat out of the box. So basically what you do is say, give you have terms, and these are the terms, and then say, hey, I have some content, and then say, I want to use that terms, and boom, it creates it for you. Nice thing, it works really fast and reliable. Trouble is, you have to repeat this again and again and again, every feature, to create the content before you can go and test the content. So it requires a little bit of maintenance. Then, vertical tables is more or less the same as that, but this is like horizontal, and this is vertical. And it's nice because you have field names here and field values there. Easy to read, it goes down, doesn't go to this side of the screen. But I have the same problems as the other one. It doesn't, the problems with the, there's something else. It doesn't create the content for you if you don't create it previously. So basically, if you say, I am viewing an article, you need to create the terms that you're going to use in the article before you can use the article. So the way I'm trying to solve this is with this prototype, and there's going to be a live demo. I'm rushing a little bit because we're late, but you're going to like it. I'm going to show you how to create the content you need to test with one line, one single statement, and I'm going to show you how to populate the referenced stuff that comes together with the node. For example, if you have an article and the article has tags and the article has node references, that is going to get created for you without you having to do anything else. And I'm going to show you how to override these fields on a scenario basis, and I'm going to show you how to use human readable field names. So let's go. Right. This is a, can you see everything from back? Right. This is a scenario to create an image. So all you have to do is say, given I have a default image, and an image will appear for you. And you can use that immediately. Let's go and run example 1. Just going to pop that thing and base in here. Oh, nice. Live demos. That's fine, I know what to do. And by the way, this is not part of the presentation. Let's see if I can write now. All right, can write, great. I'm gonna run the example one. So, create an image. Now I'm going to the content manager, I'm gonna go to the files, and there's my image there. That's not very exciting. And I can override fields on that image. I can override the alt text, and I can create two images here. So I'm going to run this thing now. Actually, let me copy and paste first. There. And run example 2. And you should have two images coming here, 1 and 2. Not very exciting yet. Could be better. And next one is how to create an article with one single statement, giving the default article content. So let's run that. Right then, I have an article. That's my article. And I go to content. And I have an article. So if I click on that article, I can see the article. Oh, there you go. Control delete. That's my article. So he created the title for me, he created the image and the text that goes here, and an author. This is an old reference. If I click on it, I can see the author of the article. So everything that's here is being created for me without me having to do anything. If I edit, I can show you the fields that have been populated. So you have, see, this is important things. Those are required fields. If I was filling out the form from here, it would stop me right there. But with this, it just creates the stuff that you want without caring about the rest of it. And that's the title. And the author is here, which is an old reference. So I create that need for me. And also created some terms for me here, some tags. And if I go back to the content, so these are tags that got created, all in one go. Let me just show you one thing. I'll show where all of this comes from, all that content. That is in, it's coming from here. So this is done in PHP, and this is a mapping. So you got a mapping for nodes, and this is node author. So anytime I say giving author, it's going to give me an author with this data here, with this title and this body. And that image. And for the article is the same. It's going to give me this article with this title and this body. And then you have page and other content types. Now, this is like a global setting that you would normally ship with your Behat extension, that you set some default values to test any website, so that be like a default values for every website. Now, say you have a specific content type, or you want to override it on the site level. Then all you have to do is, next, just looking here, right, you need to put some overrides on the Behat YAML file. So there's a configuration here where you have a mapping for default content. So you have default content for node gallery and field, and the value for that field, and for author, and for image. So let's do, I'm going to run same test, but this time I'm going to add some default values for the node article. So I'm doing right then. So I'm saying for this website, when I say give me an article, the default content is going to be this title and this short teaser and so on. So let's go on and run the same test again without changing anything else. I bet something's going to fail now. Right, it says I have an article. Let's have a look. Alright, so far it's looking alright. So I got my author there. It's the same author as before. And it's saying I have one more author here. And that is because on the author field I got two authors. So it's going to create those two for me. There you go. So that's the Suez Canal. Suarez Canal, yeah. Suarez to get past 3 defenders and score. And these are 2 authors, that's the second one. Right then, next example, I'm going to show you how to override on the test level, on the feature level, saying, because before what I have an article. Now I'm going to say, actually on this test, I want to change the title, and I want to change the short teaser, and I want to change the image. So all I'll do is I pass overrides here on a table, and it's a horizontal table. So if I run this test, I need a hero. Spain to score on a 9+ minutes winner against Portugal. So I got two levels of overrides and the default content. Our next example is going to be it's the same as this, almost the same, because the difference here is I'm using human readable field names, which is a lot nicer to write and read tests rather than having some sort of machine name here. Like the project managers, they don't understand these things. They're not able to write tests. But if the project managers can just say things like, oh, give me title or short teaser and a primary image like this, anyone can write a test. And let's see if that works. One more thing that I need before that, I need to tell my extension how to map this field because it doesn't know. So what I'll do is I'll get my mapping here. So the field mapping is here for this extension, which is field alias context. And the mapping for primary image is going to be field primary image. Short teaser is going to be field underscore short underscore teaser, and so on. So I'm going to copy this mapping, and I'm going to stick inside the Behat YAML, and I hope I can write on it now. Yes, that's good. And then I'm going to run test number 4. It's working beautiful today. Oh, something didn't work. Is it number 5? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Chris. I need a hero. Number 5.
You need to copy it into the presentation.
It's already done. I did it on background. Okay. Test number 5. Muller corner. Thomas Muller to score from a corner. All right, then. Next one. So, this is a mix of everything. This is a mix of default content. This is a mix of vertical tables and friendly field names. There, and I'm going to run the test number 6. That gave me Game of Thrones. Okay, that's the end of the demo. And I'm going to go back to some theory, and then we're going to stop this because we need to look above. I'm going a little bit, sorry, because I think it's a bit too late, and I don't want to hold it for too long. So far, success. Demo worked. I went a little bit fast, but I'm going to explain what happened there. So, you got some levels of content, right? Basically, if you say, give me a default content, it's going to give you some predefined content for predefined fields. And if you look at the code, the PHP code, you got as explained before, you got predefined field values for author and predefined field values for article. So if you just say, give me a default article content, you're going to get that. Now, the second level, that. You want to see? I should put Brazil there. Didn't think about it. I don't think they're going to win anyway. The next level is going to be the Behat.yum overrides, which I showed as well. So basically, instead of having those values from the default content, you're actually going to have this here. It's going to inherit those here, and it's going to override those 3 values with fields that you put on Behat.yum for that website. And here is how you do it. You put on just like a YAML. It's so simple. And then the third level, or second level of overrides, is on scenario where you say, actually, I don't want to use that title or that title. I want to use a custom title. And you do this by saying, give me an article, but the title is that. Now, this is done by it's three different things altogether. So you got the reference generator. How it works, it goes like, you say, give me an article, and the Behat goes like, okay, I'll give you an article, and I want these fields. I want to have a title, which is just a plain text. I want to have some tags, which is taxonomy, and I want to have the authors, as you saw before, which is like an entity reference to another node. And the reference generator goes like, okay, I'm going to give you the article, but you only said you want an article, you didn't say what you want as overrides for the article, so I'm going to figure out what's an article. And then it goes to default content and says, give me the article, and then default content goes like, okay, here's your article, and you have two authors, and you have three terms, and it goes back to the generator. Generator says, okay, create this, but I can't. Why? Because I don't have these terms, so it goes back to default content and say, give me this term, and that generates a term, and then it goes back again for each term and creates those terms. And then it goes back to the node author, and it says, oh, I don't have this. Comes back here, give me the author, and it's going to create the author from default content. And it cascades. If the author has got some fields, and that fields don't exist as references, it's going to create for them as well. So basically, you have a lot of content from one line of code. And these two things here, they actually one thing right now. I'm trying to split them into two. It was three before. This is already out. It's already its own extension. It's called field aliases. All it does is that nice field mapping that you have on YAML file without using any code. And I think as soon as you separate this view here, it's going to be a nice tool. This is kind of working. It's kind of ready to play with, not ready to use because it's going to be changing a lot. And we have lots of plans for these things. When this is ready, we're going to be able to save so much time with maintenance of tests and saving so much time with writing tests because they're going to be like from this size to this size, one line. So like we're really excited with these things. And if you want to play with it, you can play and maybe contribute at some point. You're welcome to do that. And I'm going to open for some questions if you have some, and then we can go. Okay.
Is there a way to clean up the articles after the test?
They get cleaned up by default.
So you left them on.
I left them on for the presentation. By default, every time you say, give me an article, and you go and say, oh, I want to see that the title is there, I want to see that the picture is there, and at the end, it wipes everything. I'm only keeping it for the presentation. I actually, on purpose, I put a new statement that says, and I stop. I didn't show it because I was going too fast, but I'm keeping them there.
That's a configurable thing.
Not really. By default, when using Behat and you say, give me the article, out of the box and say, give me the article and using the tables, TableNodes, it does delete the content at the end. It's a default behavior.
Would it potentially be a good idea to have something where it's configurable within a test so you can do generate my article and then run several tests and then at the end it cleans it up?
I could literally say, give me the content and don't delete them or something like that, or setting. I was actually thinking, when he was doing his presentation, I was thinking like, okay, if we put this thing together with this thing, we would have real nodes on that output. That would be a nice thing to do. And I even proposed to him that we should do this, but now it's like a bit late. Let's do it tomorrow.
So this is all the nodes and the stuff that's being created. That's all still using the internal Drupal API, right? It's not like you can have a Drupal instance in one place and run Behat in somewhere like Circle CA or Travis CA. Right? You still need to be, the Behat script still need to run on the same instance.
Well, Behat runs with a Drupal site.
Right. So yeah, my question is more like, is it possible to run the test somewhere else? Like in general, you just in the Behat.1 you can just come here and say my Drupal instance is here and just run this script. That's still not possible.
I'm not too sure I understand what you're trying to do, but for this presentation, it's really just about the content creation for Behat. Basically, I'm hooking into the node creation of Behat, and I'm saying, here's the content you're looking for. I'm not really sure what you're trying to.
I think the point here is that your tests cannot be run from remotely because your content creation is tightly coupled with the Drupal instance you're talking about.
Yeah, the side effect of this is, imagine you have a stage server and you pushing some code and you need to run some Behat there, right? So even though you clean up the test content that you create, it still leaves some footprints. For example, you delete a user, but if your last user, valid user is 2, you created 2 users and you deleted, the next sequence-wise primary user number is 5. You know what I mean? So you don't see the user 3 and 4, but the next right user will be. So things like that, it still leaves a footprint. So if I didn't face it's a bad scenario. One of the scenarios that I'm asking is like anyway we can separate so that it won't have any impact on the live data.
We don't touch live data. We only run tests on CI and QA, which are dedicated servers just for testing.
Right.
We don't touch any live data.
So this kind of installs the whole Drupal and then runs the test.
Yeah, we have an instance of the site running on different environments,
right,
and use those environments to run all the tests on the site before they go to production. But we do not run tests on production. So the creation of content on these environments, they don't affect live sites. But I think your question is more a Behat question, not really to do with content creation, because I'm not doing anything different than what Behat does by default, apart from providing the content that it's looking for.
Now that you have much shorter scenarios, do you think it's going to be more likely to be read by non-technical people? Because
yes.
what I usually see is that Gherkin is a wonderful thing, but non-technical people don't usually collect on this. So.
There are 3 things that will happen very soon. One, we're going to split this into 2 other repos to make them smaller, less code to maintain, and a bit of connection, but separate. And we're going to write an extension that's going to support Drupal 8 as well, which is very simple to do. It's just a field handler. And we're expecting the people that write tickets to say, given I have a content and I should see this thing I'm looking for, they should be able to write themselves, because this is pure Gherkin.
Yeah, so acceptance criteria would be translating to your
That's the idea.
That's quite good, like where images are coming from.
Okay, so the images, where are they coming from? Right, that's a good question. You're a smart guy. All right, so the first image where I showed you, I say, given the default image, which is a little square, that's generated by the generator. The football images, they were existing content. They were not generated on the fly. They were existing content. That was a good question. Normally, when we do tests, we don't use existing content. I only use because I want to have my football pans there, and they will make nice pan with just with a square pinky box.
But there's actually a library generator. No. When you say default.
When you say give me an article, and then say, by the way, the image is p4.jpg, it's going to try to find the image first. If it finds the use, it's same as with any content. If I say the author is Cornell, and you're there, it will use you. If it doesn't find you, it's going to create you. So basically, it generates when it needs it.
So I might be missing something sort of obviously, but what you've written effectively, if I'm right, so you've written an extension for B.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this? I mean, obviously, you just give us the GitHub address. How easy is it for somebody else to sort of use this extension? Does B have a plugin system?
Yes. It hooks into the existing Behat plugins, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to have it, if you want to have it.
And you've called it Behat References Generator. Does that mean it can be used for other kind of content management systems? It's not specific to Drupal?
Exactly, it's not specific for Drupal. It's just something that works on top of Behat, and Behat is not only for Drupal.
Behat giving you something for doing all this hard work?
Well, join the repo and send some pull requests.
You could say that easier to maintain shorter code because nothing gifted and stuff.
That's a pretty boring indicator.
Okay, how to get it? Composer required, then digital, Behat reference generator, dev master. And you might have to put this bit here just for the repo, because it's a public repo, but it's not listed on the, what's the name of that thing? Yeah, it's not there yet. Yeah, it's a prototype, it's not there yet, but it will be there eventually. It will be there. And that's all you have to do, just do that, required, and then you can run the test. And by default, it will do something. It's not going to be like, oh, nothing happens. I'll just change this presentation branch, this is the master branch. By default, if you run it, it's going to run all of this. It's going to create some stuff. It's going to create images. It's going to put some customizations on the images. And it's going to test that images are there. This one is going to create an article. It's going to test that the article is there. It's going to test that the links are on the page. So basically, it will do something out of the box for you.
Cool.
Yes, Shandeep?
Great presentation. Earlier this afternoon, I was speaking with a automating tester, and he builds all of his stuff in Java and Selenium IDE. In the context of a Scrum team where he's the only one who does acceptance criteria and test rating, I tried to speak to him about Behat if he's aware of it and its advantages. He wasn't too aware. Do you think it might be useful in an environment where you have front-end dev, back-end dev, product owner, scrum master, and this automation tester?
In a QA person. Yeah. The QA person is going to be probably the person that's going to talk to the product managers, and they're going to be deciding what the acceptance criteria is. They can write these bits for us, and we as devs are going to start from there. They're probably not going to write the whole thing, but it's easier for them to write that than writing something that's going to fill in forms when you go to node/ads. It's going to be a lot easier this way.
The way you're going to look at it in that kind of sense is, how long does it take you to write your test? And then, let's say the two developers in that scenario are the ones that write the tests, but there is a product owner, project manager, QA, they don't really write tests, they just write acceptance criteria. You put something like this in place, and you're essentially taking your amount of people that can write tests from 2 to 5. So you multiply that by how long it takes to write tests, how many tests you write, that's probably going to go up as well, so that's another additional bonus. And then you weigh up, is that worth the time it takes to integrate? So,
I was thinking it'd be useful just from devolving all the reliance on them, but I think it's
it takes out a potential bottleneck, yeah.
So like, part B of that same question, what would you advise as the first step to an organisation that doesn't believe they need Behat, where the automation testers
I don't think that's really relevant with the presentation. It's more like a Behat thing.
Yeah. We'll talk about
I don't have the answer for that one.
Why don't you take it offline?
It's a pub question.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Dave.
Thank you.